G, you and I talked about Shedeur Sanders in the post-game show yesterday. Bull, I know you had a post-game show, and you gave your opinion on Shedeur Sanders. We have not heard from Jay yet on what he thought from the Browns' rookie quarterback. It'll be the last topic of the day, guys. But, Jay, what did you make of Shedeur Sanders, who struggled in the first half but did lead a game-winning drive?
Here's what Shedeur did. If this was an academic class in a semester, he failed the first exam. He failed most of the pop quizzes, maybe a D here and there. And then at the final exam, which weighs most heavily on your grade, he got an A+. Shedeur Sanders did what I most wanted him to see from him in all of his first previous games. I kept saying, well, we had chances. He had chances for late drives to win games, and he didn't do it. In fact, in several of those opportunities, he looked worse on that very last possibility to go down the field and win the game. I was thrilled the way the game played out. I said, this is perfect. This is perfect. Even though our offense was abysmal, and they were abysmal, they were awful. When it most mattered, that where you make your money, and I know he needed like 35 yards or whatever to get our kicker into field goal range, but he hadn't done that yet. That's a pretty high bar against a Cincinnati team that was clearly engaged. They wanted very badly to win this football game. I know our defense gets the first game ball, but the second one goes to Shedeur because, what was he, 11 of 22 or something?
11 of 22, correct.
50%, but that's way below average. We can't have that. Passing yards, 122, 112?
Yeah, it was not
mid.
111, I believe.
Very mid.
That's not mid. That's way worse
way
than mid.
below average. Way below average. Unacceptable work. He lost a fumble.
Yep.
He took some sacks that I thought he shouldn't have taken. Mm-hmm. But when it most counted, Shedeur Sanders came out, and it's why, what is it, perfectly timed?
Yeah.
When it most mattered, and all eyes were on Shedeur Sanders, he made some great throws. He very much, to me, in that minute and a half, looked like a leader. He looked like a leader. Guys, let's go. No hesitancy. He made the throws. He took the team 35 or whatever it was down the field, got in place for the field goal, and our man Schmidt, who I called for his release because I didn't think he had it. Man, was I wrong on that? He blasts that field goal right down the middle, and they beat a Cincinnati team that was not what their record says it was. That wasn't a 6-11. Is that what they finished? I'm sorry. That's a 10-win football team, Bull. I don't know if you agree with me on that.
I mean, their defense stinks, but
it does stink.
It was a little better at the end of the year.
I mean, they were 5-2 in games Joe Burrow played. If you extrapolate that over a 17-game season, they're 11-6, 12-5. However you want to split that last game.
Yeah,
that was not a bad football team that they beat yesterday. It wasn't a great defense, but our defense kept their offense in check. Our defense scored 12 points.
14 points.
Well, no, 14 points.
Yeah.
But what really, to me, this was the first time that I've watched Shedeur Sanders where I could say, God, we bottle that. And that's on the coaches. It's there. We've seen it. But what we've got to do is we've got to wash all the other bad stuff out. And that's going to be the ultimate question on Shedeur Sanders. Does he make it? It's not he's answered the question, can he do it? Yeah, he can do it. We've seen it. We saw it yesterday. We've seen it for stretches. But can he do it won't keep you in the league.
Consistency.
There's one word missing from there.
Consistency.
Can he do it consistently? And that's up to the coaches. I listened to his news conference this morning. I loved what he said, as always. I always love what this kid says. Mary Kay asked a couple questions that he thought were treacherous. He's like, oh, no, that's going to get me in trouble if I answer that, and I'm not going to answer that. He's a wise beyond his years, and I think that's because Dion and the way he's been coached on how to handle the media. But I listened to his news conference, and they said, how are you going to spend the offseason? He said, you know how I'm going to spend it? The only way a Sanders knows how to spend it. I'm going to work. I'm going to go find my deficiencies and get better, and I'm going to find my strengths and work on them to make them better too. Said all the right things. I absolutely think he deserves a chance to come back and try to win this job. And I'm not afraid of them drafting a quarterback. Like, here's the thing. If you think this kid has it, Draft 5 quarterbacks. Sign 3. Bring them all in. If you're convinced he's the guy, never run from competition. Welcome.
Never run for no smoke. Listen, you know what's so crazy? I'll take it a step further. I actually was harsher on Shedeur Sanders in this game, and I agree. I can't believe it. I'm agreeing with y'all folks today. I don't know what's going on today. But I agree with what Jay just said. That first half, I was doing a live stream. And half of y'all in there is probably watching now. You can attest to that. G. Bush somebody sent me a super chat. G. Bush, they ain't gonna like you being objective up in here, because I was like, that first fumble, you can't have it. You gotta have the ball security. He got hit on the hand.
And he was carrying it in his left hand.
And he was moving. There was some sacks. I'm like, he not seeing it. The ball, and there was 3 or 4 turnover-worthy throws where it was in the double coverage. I'm looking around and I said, this is the worst I've seen him play all year. You know what the CU auntie said? You know what people say? I don't know what's up with nephew. I ain't seen him play like this. I don't know what's up. So everybody was in lockstep. And the thing that I was most alarmed about, and he kind of shed light on this in the press conference at the end, was I didn't like the energy. I didn't see the energy. I said, what's going on?
I didn't see his post-game news conference. What was he referring to, the energy? His or everybody's?
No, he talked about he was going through a lot of things spiritually. He actually said Quinshon Judkins showed up in his house and told him, hey, this not you. We need you to have the energy. We need you to have, in the locker room, people kept saying, hey, man, come on. Because you're the guy that.
Because that's who they feed off of.
That's who you are, right? And he said, in the locker room, people was coming up to me telling me, we need to pick it up. And I said the exact same thing. I said, I got to give you a halftime speech, bro. This energy level, I don't know what happened and who you talk to, because right now it seems like everybody is getting fired and everybody is moving around. I need you to come out here and lock in. The first half, they said, what grade? F. First half, the entire offense, F.
Yeah.
It was nasty. I said I couldn't do it. They get to the second half, they move along the field. I say they started to wake up. But let me tell you this. When it counted, this means more than anything that when you evaluate, you are 1,000% correct. I want to see what you do when you've sucked the whole game and you've been terrible. When you get that ball on that last drive, I need people in them stands and, more importantly, in that huddle to believe in what you can do. McNuggets asked us on the live stream. He said, G. Bush, what you thinking here? We gonna move down the field? I said, man, I ain't put my name on that, bro. Have you seen this offense today? They haven't done nothing. And guess what? He got sacked on the first 2 plays.
I know, and then I thought, oh my God, here we go.
No, it wasn't the first 2. The first one he got was an incompletion.
The previous
second
drive.
one was a sack.
Yeah.
On the last drive.
And
it was 3rd and 10.
So 3rd and 10, he makes the throw to Bond, and I'm like, nice throw. Then they come around, he scrambles and moves around. They get him downfield and did a throw to Jerry Jeudy on a 3rd and 1. And I'm like, no. We only need 1 yard.
And he bobbled it.
They hit him in the chest and he bobbled it. And so you get down, they kick the field goal. And I tell myself, look, what he did prior to all that was not a good game.
You don't remember that.
But what you can build off of and go into the offseason is the fact that what happened on the football field humbles you to a point. And in the postseason, in the post-conference, he said, what'd you learn this year? I learned what I like and what I don't like. I learned what I'm good at and what I'm not so good at. And I learned in terms of timing, if I'm not getting the ball out quickly and seeing it the way I want to see it.
Yeah.
And I said, that's where reflection comes in.
That's a lot of learning, too.
And that's a lot of learning to come with it. And that's why I always told people, no, you go through the fire so that you can put yourself in position to understand it came full circle. The Rams game, it was looking bad in the preseason. He came out to go out for the last drive, and they pulled him out of the game because he was running backwards, and people said it was going to kill his confidence. He didn't get a chance to do that. But just like in his storybook, he came back, and at the last part of the season in the game, he got to prove and show that he got better at what he was doing. The goal is, hey, nobody's going to give you nothing. They may talk about quarterbacks and do whatever they can with a quarterback, or they may even go trade for one. But if you Shedeur Sanders, here's your thought process. Bring it on. I'm going to get better. I'm here to work. And guess what? Go back and remember that conversation that Andrew Berry had with him on the sideline against who are they playing?
In the preseason.
In the preseason.
The Rams or the Eagles?
Eagles. No, it was Panthers. It's against the Panthers when he played really well.
Yes,
he said,
yes.
Hey, you played really, really well. But hey, we want to put it together. Andrew Berry then having a conversation with him and say, listen, we seen some things, but for you to be the franchise quarterback, you got to come back and fix all of these things. And one of them, and he went down a bullet list. And now it's time to get back to work. He done did some decent things, Bull, but it's all about the progress.
What grade would you guys give him for this game overall?
See, it's interesting because I gave my analogy how like he flunked the midterm.
Yeah.
He flunked most of the quizzes, but he aced the final. And
so,
if I'm a
so
professor,
before that final drive, you would have given him an F?
D. Yeah, a D. Because he made some nice throws.
D.
And again, it's what's tantalizing. But remember, I said 2 weeks ago, I said the 2 words that I won't most use out of him is tantalizing, because he gives you so much.
Yeah.
And you look at it and say, it's there. Like with Dylan Gabriel, we didn't see it at all.
Yeah,
Not ever.
And to be fair, and I'll just add this to the ledger. The reason I gave him that was because I understand, I get the line and all that other stuff. That's not debatable. The team around him, these guys is playing.
But to be fair, the line was playing decent.
I'm gonna give him a C.
For
the game, I'll give him a C.
The reason I had him at the D was because of the energy. I didn't see his main strength is the leadership and the belief,
positivity.
The positivity.
Yeah,
I didn't see it. He was. I don't know what was was going on.
You give him a D for the whole game?
No. I'll give him a D at that point. Like his first half, but like you said,
the final
exam. I got him
at up to
C minus if you want to.
I think that's fair. That's where I am.
See, I give him a D for the whole game. I had him as like a Q leading up to that final drive. And yes, in that final drive, I give him some credit. He made a couple of decent throws,
pressure throws too.
Now
leverage plays.
He missed Isaiah Bond.
Now,
touchdown.
Isaiah Bond, I need you to adjust.
Oh, come on!
I like that throw. I liked it. We talked about it.
Isaiah Bond had him beat. That's on Shedeur.
I'm more with Bull on this one. He had him beat.
I like
great receiver adjusts to him, but you don't have a great receiver, and you know that.
I didn't have a problem with the ball placement.
And I gotta say, as bad as the talent is around him, although the owner just told us that they should have won more games. But as bad as the talent is around them, they ran the ball decently yesterday.
I thought they did too,
and I thought they pass blocked decently.
I was thoroughly upset. Go back and watch the stream.
Yeah.
They ran the ball for 4 times. 4 times in the first half. 4 or 5 times. I said, what are you doing? You guys are out here. The Bengals don't have a crazy. Bengals don't have a crazy rush defense.
No, but in truth, if you go back and look at the time of possession, it was Cincinnati had the ball almost the whole first half because they
were moving it up and down the field.
They had a long
turnovers.
drive.
Yeah.
And it stalled, or the first drive, long drive, scored.
Yeah.
Then they had a long drive, pick, because they'd moved all the way down the field, pick 6. Then Joe came out, had a long drive again, fumble, 6. So the Cleveland's offense is over there going, can we play?
Now they ran it a lot better in the second half. And
I get it. I get it. Ultimately, he led them on that last drive, and I give him kudos for that. Because
we used to kill Baker for not doing that.
Yes,
right,
absolutely. But you can't play the way you did the rest of the game.
No, that's not.
The Bengals' defense is terrible. Now it's little less terrible now than it was for most of the season, but it's still terrible.
It's bad.
The Bengals have one decent player now on the defensive line and one good corner, and that's
the last couple of weeks they played so much better.
They've played okay. They played okay. They don't make any pass rush.
They also played some bad teams in that stretch.
No, I know they did. I know.
So listen. So I thought overall it was a terrible performance by Shedeur. I thought it was his worst performance from beginning to end. But I do like that he was. I agree with you on that last drive. He didn't pass. Like when they were going on the announcers, and I like the announcers, by the way. I like that team.
McCarthy's great.
Really good.
Yeah.
And I like Logan Ryan. I thought he was good, too.
He filled in for Jimmy some on the radio.
Yeah,
when
I like him a lot.
I
think they're an underrated team. I do think he did a great job of keeping his composure in that situation. They were on the broadcast like, I'm surprised they're not calling a timeout. He was very on top of it there, unlike in the first half where both Shedeur and Stefanski both take blame on this, where they had to delay a game.
That's
inexcusable. Inexcusable.
I was flipping out for that.
So they mostly said that was on Shedeur. But I think,
but ultimately the coach has got to be the backup.
He could just look. He could look at the clock and be like,
you can't let that happen.
No, can't.
You can't let that happen. So overall, the game was just a really bad performance. And the defense saved the
Can I
day.
ask
If
you a
it's not
question?
for the turnovers, there's never a situation for him to win the game, probably.
No, you're right.
in the end.
They're not. No.
But I do think he made some nice plays on that drive, and I'm giving him credit for that. I would have had him in an F, and I moved him up to a D+.
Okay,
So,
that's
like,
fair.
I
Well,
moved
we're
him
all
up
close
because
then.
of
I'm
that
C
drive.
minus,
And
C
there's
minus,
no
D
other
plus.
drive in the game that I'm going to move him up almost a full grade.
Well,
So-
I mean, the last 8 quarters, they have 1 touchdown drive.
Right.
That's
It's
not good.
There's no way, realistically, that you could be sure that Shedeur Sanders
you're
is
not.
the guy.
But here's what I am sure of. He gets a seat at the table.
I agree. I agree. Now, Jason's someone who thinks they just need to
I know
completely
he
move on
does.
or whatever, and I get it, and there's reasons why they will maybe consider that. I have seen enough of Shedeur Sanders that I'm interested in potentially seeing more if he competes with whoever he competes with and wins the job. This idea that they just shouldn't take a quarterback no matter what, that's silly.
No.
That's silly. That's unrealistic.
I know we got to go to Super Chats. I want to ask both you guys a question this because I have said this from early on in his playing with the Browns. I noticed a difference in him, in the offense and productivity when they run with tempo. It's the same thing I see when I watch the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers against the Ravens were doing nothing all night long, and then right before the half, boom, 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 right down the field. Now, they mismanaged that whole situation, and they got 0 points, so fine. But late in the game, they get 2 touchdown drives. Why? Aaron Rodgers never went into a huddle. When they're running with tempo, he just is the maestro.
Right.
And
you can't do that the whole game.
No, you can't do that the whole game. But what you can do, and not the whole game, but what you can do is you can still go with purpose.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times the Browns, this nonsense huddle up, too often the play clock gets to 3 seconds. That's not tempo. Shedeur Sanders is his best when there's urgency and he's running with tempo. I think there's got to be a way to speed things up offensively, not this slow drag out 30 seconds between snaps. No, get up there and go.
I want to see what these guys look like in a real playbook. And I'm talking
with real playmakers.
Yeah, we gotta get some
Imagine
playmakers.
if Puka Nacua was on this team right now. Just like let's go nuts.
I just want to see what it looks like with a different philosophy, and to see if these, because I do think literally the quarterbacks in our playbook were limited, and you notice people playing a certain way.
But I cut them a little slack because it's limited because you have limited playmakers.
There it is. That's it.
You have limited quarterback play. You haven't had good quarterback play.
So therefore, your offense is going to look pretty pedestrian.
It's a lot of things that go into it.
But here's what we do know. If Judkins comes back, and it's expected he'll be back in early March or April, whatever, it's expected he'll be ready for the season for sure. If we think that we've got a hit in Judkins and we think we've got a hit in Fannin, and I believe the general consensus here is we do. If you now sprinkle in a little bit more from the playmaker side, get an offensive line, it's easier to make the offense look great when you got great players.
That's going to be nearly impossible to do in 1 year.
It's a big ask, Bull.
Yes.
It's a big ask. Yeah. I think you've got to duplicate the class you had this year.
But you got to do it at more premium positions.
Yeah, and it's harder to do it at those
positions he has only failed at.
Wide receiver and offensive line, he doesn't have a hit.
He's got to get a wide receiver, at least one wide receiver, and at least 2 offensive linemen. Now, by the time you get deeper in the draft, I'm not expecting them to be stars, but
contributors.
You got to take a wide receiver and an offensive lineman in theory early, and then take another offensive, maybe 2 other offensive linemen.
The kid from Miami, I think, is rated 5 or 6. The offensive lineman.
I don't know that they're going to get. The top wide receiver.
He just had a really good game against Ohio State.
Let me ask quickly. I know we got to get to Super Chats. Last question, then we'll go. You've got the 6th pick, and Tate is there, and the offensive linemen from Miami are there. Who are you taking? Which one do you place a higher priority on?
You're saying they're equal. We're going to assume they're going to be equally good in the NFL?
Yes.
I would take Tate.
I would too. I would too.
Tyvis said something.
Because I see what Puka Nacua does to that Rams.
Tyvis said there's less, and I agree, there's less tackle and guard talent, premium talent at those positions, and there is a better depth group at wide receiver.
But the Browns need a stud.
We do.
Well, if that's true, then
Operation Stockpile.
If that's true, there's more depth at wide receiver and not offensive line. If that's true, you're going to have your pick of offensive linemen at 6.
Yes, you will.
That's true.
So take the offensive lineman there, and then fall back to the second round, second pick in the first round, where there's more depth. If you think you can get a quality wide receiver there,
but
get one there.
wherever you get first, better be good. Now,
I'm gonna say
today,
this.
They blow that
Today.
pick. It's
Today.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, it can't. And that pick can't be like Mason Graham, how we think he's going to be good, and we've seen it.
He gotta be.
This guy's got to come in, and we have to look. If you take an offensive lineman in the top 10,
He better be.
You better not think about that position for 10 years.
That's right.
And we didn't do that when we took Wills. That never
And
happened.
most of the high drafted wide receivers make huge impact right away.
They do.